Welcome, everyone. It's Angie Rice and Janet Semenova of Boutique Travel Advisors, and we're here with a special guest, Barbara Julian with Celebrity Cruises. And we're now really reaching that time frame where people are actually packing their bags and getting ready for their summer cruises. So cruising is about to happen again, and it might look a little bit different, but in many ways, Barbara is going to share with us why cruising for summer 2021, as well as into the fall, is a great travel opportunity, especially for those that are vaccinated, because many of the cruise lines are requiring that you are vaccinated as a passenger, and as well as the cruise being vaccinated. And we're really excited to talk about Celebrity Cruises with our guests, because we believe that this is a great cruise line for a multitude of different types of travelers. And it really is the type of cruise for many of our clients who have done land itineraries with us for 3-4 years. We feel a great alternative to those land experiences would be to incorporate a cruise, with Celebrity being one of our first choices for you. And we'll have Barbara share some of the reasons why, from the ships to the itineraries. Thank you, Barbara, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today. This is great. I'm so excited to share all our wonderful news. Lots of stuff is happening. We've been waiting, and we said someday is finally here. So do you want me to go ahead and share now?
Yes, let's share your presentation.
Okay, let's do it.
So we are so excited to be able to just kind of get a good sense of where these cruises are going, what they're doing, where people are even able to travel right now, because I know that even right before we went live, Angie and I were chatting for a minute about the fact that certain countries have officially reopened, other countries have announced that they are reopening, but they haven't quite pulled the trigger yet. And so, you know, this is an ever-evolving situation, even for those of us who are like living, breathing it. It changes sometimes on a daily basis. So I can imagine for the cruise lines to try to plan these itineraries far in advance, it's quite the puzzle pieces. So we're really excited to hear about where Celebrity is going, what kind of changes we can see on the horizon, what are the things that are going to be changing for the future that actually might improve the entire overall cruising experience in general. And I think with a lot of our clients, cruising is actually going to be a preferred method of travel, because you do eliminate a lot of those headaches and hassles and guesswork, because you guys are kind of taking care of that guesswork and doing all of that preparation and research on behalf of the client, so they don't necessarily have to worry about it as much. So we're excited to see this presentation.
And, you know, you're right with that, because, you know, we've been out there for how many years? We have the most amazing product. And now with everything that we've gone through in the last 18 months, I mean, crazy. So we are working on our healthy return to service. We've been working on it, obviously, since everything hit with the pandemic. We've worked with our healthy panel, our healthy sail panel, which incorporated all scientists, doctors, CDC directors, former CDC people. So they were able to get us on the right track and make sure that when we did come back, all our crew and all our guests, you know, would be safe. And I have to say, I honestly believe that we will be some of the safest places to be ever. So we went ahead, we have opened up quite a few sailings. Apex is sailing out of Greek Isles, out of Athens, which is very exciting. And then Millennium, which is actually sailing out of St. Martin this Saturday. So how exciting is that? She'll be the first ship back out of St. Martin, doing 7-night itineraries starting Saturday. Absolutely beautiful, visiting Aruba, Curacao, Barbados. There's 2 different ones, so you could do a back-to-back for 14 nights. And of course, Silhouette is out of the UK, but right now only for UK residents. So hopefully as the borders start to open, that will open down the line. And then we just recently also opened up Alaska, and then Edge, which was our big announcement last week. Edge will be the first ship sailing out of the US sailing out of Fort Lauderdale. And she is the most beautiful, amazing ship. She's the sister ship to the Apex that you see here. So super excited. And Captain Kate, who is our first American woman captain and the only one right now, she will be sailing the Edge out of Fort Lauderdale. So lots of super great things. I mean, so much happening. And of course, as you know, we have great airfare to go along with those sailings. So it's a whole package that we have put completely together. So it's a one-stop shop. They call you, and then you get them their best stateroom or suite on board. You get them their round-trip air, and we're good to go, right? Also, you know, the onboard experience. Celebrity, just so folks listening, if you're not familiar with Celebrity, we're part of the Royal Caribbean group. Royal is more of our contemporary mass market, super large ships, catering to families. And Celebrity is considered more premium, or as we like to say, new luxury. We cater to adults, but not to say that we have multi-gen families that travel with us. But again, we cater to the adults. We have an amazing kids program, but so much happening on board. It's an elevated experience. We like to say we have our own space in the market because there is nothing else like us out there. I can truly say that. So whether it's our fabulous entertainment, our culinary is beyond, you know, casinos, shops. So we feel like it's a luxury product, but on a larger ship. And our ships hold either 2,000 or 3,000 guests. So they're actually considered mid-size nowadays. But some people feel the only way to have a luxury product is on smaller ships. And that's not the case when it comes to Celebrity. So whether it's our culinary, we work with Daniel Boulud. He's going to have his own restaurant on our new ship coming up, whether it's our fabulous world entertainment, and of course, the casino, the spas, the shopping. The spas are like nothing else out there. So plenty to do on board. And the good thing is when you book with us, that you have always included, you have Elevate and Indulge. So you have your drinks, your Wi-Fi, your tips, they're already included. And you can upgrade too if you would like to have additionals for an additional price. We compare it to buying an iPhone, right? You can have the 7, the 9, or the 12. So there's options there. And then Galapagos. Talk about a luxury product. We're starting Galapagos July 4th on the Flora. And the Flora holds 100 guests, but with social distancing, she'll go out with 50 guests, and it's all suites. So this is an amazing product. It will be an amazing way to start out with the smaller limit of passengers on board, but absolutely fantastic. And we're one of the few cruise lines that sail in the Galapagos. So you have the Flora coming back July 4th, all suites. You have the Celebrity Expedition coming back July 24th. She was originally 100 passengers, but when the Flora came out, she went down to 48 passengers. So we're already social distancing on the Expedition. And then Exploration is our very own catamaran, and she holds 16 passengers. That's right. So families, multi-gen family groups, family reunions.
Perfect for a buyout.
There you go. Absolutely. 16 guests, and you can sail through the Galapagos on your own.
With your closest family and friends.
There you go. And
Still plenty of space, right?
Exactly. I always say if you have 8 couples that really like each other, you know, you can do the Exploration. But there's so many choices, and these sailings are all inclusive. So everything is included. We fly you into Quito. We fly you from Quito into the Galapagos Islands. You have 2 shore excursions a day. You see all the fabulous wildlife on board out there. You're outdoors twice a day. So we're definitely, healthy protocols for sure. And right now for Galapagos, we're given free air. What do you think about that? It doesn't get better than
Barbara,
free air.
we had clients left February 2020, so just before the shutdown, who sailed on the Flora, and they just had an amazing time. And I think looking at these 3 different ships, obviously the Flora is more of a luxury liner, and Celebrity Exploration being more of an opportunity for a much smaller group. Like Janet said, it's a perfect opportunity for a buyout. But as far as the itineraries and the activities, are they similar from ship to ship, or what type of variation would you expect off ship as a result of the differences?
Because when you're sailing through the Galapagos, it's the national park. So there are very many restrictions involved. So you are pretty much doing, whether it's the inner loop or the outer loop, but all the excursions are the same. What makes it a little bit different is, with Expedition, you'll have maybe 6 or 7 people on a Zodiac at a time. The Flora, with 100 guests, you might have a little bit more, but it's the experience on board that probably would be a little bit different. But when you're in the Galapagos itself, everything is the same. Whether you're snorkeling with penguins, you're swimming with sea lions, all the wildlife with the birds that you won't see anywhere else in the world. Exploration allows kayaking, which we don't have on the 2 larger ships. So that's just some of the differences, but the packages themselves are exactly the same.
So a small difference, the kayaking being one. So it's really looking at the different ships and knowing the itinerary as far as your activities and what you'll see and experience are pretty much equal on each ship, other than when you're on board, different meals, different caliber of room and common areas as well.
Exactly. So it's not when you get there, it's how you get there. But all such a great program. And again, the free air as well is a great enticement. It's a bucket list trip for sure. And then we have our brand new Celebrity Beyond. So even through all of the last, difficulties we've been through, the Beyond is coming. She arrives next April, and she is the 3rd in a series of Edge, Apex, and now Beyond. So more space, more luxury, and more connection. So we're super excited to be talking about a new ship coming. And, you see here, she's going to be a little bit larger. That's what makes her different from Edge and Apex. Beyond will be a little bit larger, more suites, more staterooms, more open spaces. She'll have 17 decks versus 16 on the others. And one thing I really love to talk about is the retreat. And this is where our new luxury experience comes in, because throughout our fleet, the retreat is all suites, all exclusive, and all included. So when you purchase a suite, it is located in the retreat, and you get so many fabulous amenities. So not only do you have the suite, you have a butler service, you have your private restaurant, you have your private lounge, and you have your private pool area. So it's kind of a resort within a resort, right? So you can still leave the retreat and come out through the rest of the ship and have fabulous shows and shopping that we mentioned earlier, but then you always have your private area to go back to. So on Beyond, we've extended that. We've made that a little bit larger by adding 2 decks for the retreat. And again, you must purchase the suite to have the retreat. So more space, more shaded area than Edge and Apex, but these are just some of the differences. Luminé is the private restaurant. Again, this is fleet-wide for those guests that are booked in the retreat. They have their very own private restaurant, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything is ocean-facing, right? Facing outwards. The retreat lounge is a fabulous place to just kind of if you want to get in from out of the sun, or maybe you've been in Europe and you've been touring all day, this is a wonderful place to come, have a cocktail, relax, check some of your emails. And again, it's private only for those guests that are booked in the retreat. And the Beyond will also have our Aqua Class suite. Originally throughout our fleet, Aqua Class is a veranda stateroom with spa amenities. But now
It looks
on the
magnificent.
Beyond, say that again.
It looks absolutely magnificent.
Oh, it's going to be fabulous, right?
I mean, it really looks like just a super luxury resort. I love it. It's so beautiful, so private, so modern and sleek. It's just gorgeous.
And you know, I've done the luxury ships, the smaller ships, and they're wonderful. But sometimes there's not a lot to do, right? So here with Celebrity, it's a mid-sized ship with all the luxury amenities that come with it. So super, super excited. And our infinite verandas, we were the first ones to introduce these to ocean cruising, where it's a veranda stateroom, but you have your floor to ceiling window and you push a button and that window comes down to form your veranda. So your stateroom is actually more space, but yet you still have that veranda. You can smell the sea air, you can see the ocean. It's fabulous. So we were the first to introduce those. And the resort deck, absolutely fabulous, right? All ocean facing. We have private cabanas off to the side that can be rented. This is all open space, all public area. The rooftop garden where you can come and there's entertainment, private parties. We have the large screen for movies and sporting events. There's a restaurant up here. And on the Beyond, if you look to the right, you can see we're adding 2 pools, 2 cantilevered pools over the side of the ship. So that'll be different than what you see on the Edge and the Apex. And then Nate Burkus, who has been our design ambassador, he designed the Sunset Bar on the Beyond. And this is all the way at the aft, at the back of the ship. This one on Beyond will be different levels, which you don't have on Edge or Apex. But it's absolutely a great place to come during the day, before dinner, watch the sunset, and then come back at night. So kind of a little Moroccan feel, if you will. Absolutely gorgeous. And then the Grand Plaza, this is kind of where everything happens. This is where our fabulous martini bar is located with our flair bartenders. You can see the chandelier. There's a light show that happens at night. And throughout the atrium, you can see there's restaurants, there's shopping, and kind of the focal point of the ship, if you will. And then I mentioned Daniel Balud. He will have his very own restaurant, specialty restaurant on board Beyond. Seats 50, so very intimate. And what I like is we're saying there's a designated entry and a suite ending exit. So more to come on that. We're going to reveal more about the cuisine on board Beyond. But just so you know, she's sailing through Europe next summer. Her first sailing is April 27th out of Southampton, open for sail. She'll sail throughout Europe, and then she'll head back on the transatlantic, and she'll actually sail into Cape Liberty, New Jersey. So we'll get to show her off up in the Northeast, and then she'll have a 9-night from New Jersey to Fort Lauderdale, and she'll be based in Fort Lauderdale for the winter of next year doing Eastern and Western Caribbean. So lots of good stuff for the Beyond. Amazing, right? So excited. And then last but not least is we know we're coming back. As I said, we're working with the CDC. And just so everybody's aware, the protocols right now is that the crew is 100% vaccinated. We are requiring vaccinations for our guests. We know that 95% is required. The 5% that would not be vaccinated would be the children. So that's right now it's 16 and above must be vaccinated. And then August 1st, that drops down to 12 and above. So, and we feel, again, this is all the protocols we're working with CDC and to keep everything safe, but we have all the port support. So if anything should happen, we know that the ships will be able to come back into port. There is a plan in place of returning those folks home that could have possibly tested positive. We don't feel that that will happen, but we are prepared for it. And I think everybody, should be aware of that everything we do is based on healthy protocols, healthy return to sailing. And the plan is in place, again, so that we've learned so much from before that we know that won't be a repeat once we come back. So that's pretty much everything I have for you guys today. It's a lot.
Barbara, you had mentioned the reduced occupancy levels for the sails to Galapagos. Is that the same with Apex and also with the Caribbean itinerary as well?
Correct. Any of the ships coming back, we will start off at 50% occupancy, and then we'll continue to go up from there as we progress throughout the rest of the season.
What an added bonus for those that are cruising over the summer until those occupancy levels go up, to be on a big ship with all this entertainment with half the amount of people. That's very attracting.
Exactly. And the CDC did come out last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, where because of the 95% being vaccinated, masks on board will not be required. So that was a big announcement for us as well. But this week coming up, there's more to come. All the finalizations of the exact protocols are coming this week. So keep an eye out for those as well.
As far as getting on and off the ship at the ports, as well as the activities, are there different, could you kind of describe the protocols that are in place for the excursions?
Sure. So of course, we recommend that you pick ours. We have quite a few of them. All of ours will fall under the healthy protocols. We have been back and forth with the different destinations as far as whether or not people can go off on their own. And there have been quite a few that have said, yes, they can, but there are a few that we have to follow their policies, which is most likely masks in public places. However, the finalization of that will be coming out this week. We haven't announced exactly what ports. We're finalizing all of that. So that'll be coming out this week.
And I think there will probably be a continuation of mask wearing for some people. Like you said, it's not required on ship, but you might have some people who choose to wear a mask, so be it. Just to have that flexibility is nice.
Exactly.
And as far as the destinations, I'm assuming if someone was doing a land excursion, they would also be required to wear a mask. So because you're cruising doesn't require you to have any difference in your land experiences once you're off ship.
Exactly. So, and again, I mean, as you know, these are changing every single day. And so we're just very fluid, trying to keep up with it. But I believe the final ones are coming the end of this week. So we'll be happy when those are finally out in writing. And so we have 100% of what we need to know.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to the opportunity to sail with Celebrity on the Greece itinerary aboard the Apex. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for me to experience firsthand how the protocols affect you as the traveler and whether it feels any different. And I think in some ways it's actually going to be a bonus, because I think we're all leaning towards keeping these measurements in place even after we're all vaccinated and or the pandemic simply goes away. And it's just that new way of living, not just traveling, where we are a little more conscientious of avoiding, passing along a germ and washing our hands. And, maybe in some larger arenas, it does make sense to wear a mask and for some. So it is, it's going to be exciting to be able to aboard the Celebrity and really understand what makes it so unique, because I completely agree, Barbara. I feel there are a lot of cruisers that, you know, enjoy one line versus another. But what I really like about Celebrity is I do believe you're doing something quite different. You're not trying to compete necessarily with the luxury lines that are focused more on, you know, aboarding the ship and using it more as a hotel. Rather, you understand the value of some of the entertainment that is sought after on a more mass market cruise, but you wanted to create something that really combined the two quite nicely. And I think that appeals to a lot of guests who I've, you know, heard from different travelers who have done some luxury cruise lines. They've enjoyed it quite immensely, but they did, if anything, what was lacking is the element of having some entertainment aboard the ship, particularly when you're at sea for a longer duration of time between the ports.
Exactly. And that's what I had said. Like, every night you would go to the same lounge and there'd be the same lounge singer, and it was very nice, but there wasn't a variety. The casino was like 2 tables, you know, so not a lot of variety there. If anybody likes to gamble, we have our full casino on board. And we really do it as far as like embarking and disembarking. I mean, we really have it down where you don't feel, even though the ship is larger, you don't feel that you have the crowds. There's not a lot of crowds gathering in different places. There's a lot of space on board, and we take advantage of that. So it is definitely a premium, a much higher level experience for sure.
Right. And I like how you emphasize that the mentality of the adult was really the focus of building the ship. Not to say that it doesn't appeal to a multi-gen family traveling together. It does have the facilities that are necessary for children, such as the daycare, but it was built to really entertain the adults as well as, you know, a larger family if you're traveling with children.
And our kids program is fabulous. I would say, you know, for the maybe 8 years old and higher, maybe not so much for the babies, but for 8 and above, our program is called Camp at Sea. It's based on STEM, with science, technology, engineering, and math. So they're having fun, but they're learning, and the counselors are fabulous. We still break them up into the different age groups, but they're having a great time. And they have smaller classes because, you know, the ship is smaller, so there's not as many kids on board, and they get the more attention, and it's just really a highly rated program for sure.
Yeah, and it depends on what the interests are of the individual kids and families. Not every kid wants to be on a giant Royal Caribbean cruise with the huge water slides and all. I mean, yes, that's fun, but for a lot of kids, that could be too much stimulation. That's overwhelming. Mm-hmm. So a smaller ship or a more intimate program or families that want to really be together most of the time and don't necessarily want to ship their kids off to camp, this is a great option.
And speaking of,
great.
Yeah. Also, too, I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention, too, that Celebrity is autistic friendly. So all of our counselors are trained, and we have the right programs and the right the games and the tools on board. So many families are traveling with autistic children can feel super comfortable and know that their kids will be taken very well care of.
Yeah, I think this notion of the family environment and the activities for the children being a little more contained, it allows the travelers to be less disrupted by all of the kids' activities that you might find like on a Disney trip ship or on a Royal Caribbean. There's opportunities for kids to have a really good time, but it's not front and center all the time. And I think that appeals to a lot of families. And like Janet said, you're on this family vacation. And I think sometimes when there's too much activity for the children, it kind of tears the family into 2 different directions, where mom and dad are busy doing something and the kids are entertained in another direction. Whereas with Celebrity, it's a little bit more of that focus on the family spending more time together, which I really like that you created this concept that really allows for more time for the family to spend together without all the the noise that may accompany children activities around
And
ship.
the kids are having a great time, but mom and dad are getting that quality food and service that, they're looking for. Our wine list, we're one of the few cruise lines that have won the Wine Spectator Award. I think we're up to 8 years in a row now for that Grand Spectator Award for cruise ships. So, that's another thing that we offer. And our health and wellness programs are above and beyond that you'll find anywhere else. So, that's an important factor. So the kids are happy, but mom and dad are really happy too.
Yeah, that focus on the active traveler is so great. And I know the Flora has a lot of, just as an example, you have a lot of excursions that are meant more for active people, but at the same time, you have so many choices that you can really pick the excursion that's consistent with your activity level as well as your interests.
That's true. And, we have the typical tour, but we have what's called private journeys where you can curate what you want to do. And you can go with your significant other, your friends, your family, your small group. So I think that's an option that a lot of people, will appreciate now as well. And then we have our small group excursions where we don't do more than 20 people, 25 people. So that's another great option. So for those people that do not want to be on a bus with a lot of people and, they can curate their own, they can do what they like. And we want to make sure they do and see what they want to do.
It is important to recognize the opportunities to do different excursions privately. And I think a lot of times we have clients and they do, most of their tours privately, but then there are those exceptions where it makes sense to join on a group. But what happens when you join a larger group, you do lose a lot of the flexibility to determine how much time you're spending. If there's 2 or 3 stopping points on an excursion, you don't have as much flexibility to stay longer or to depart earlier because it's a structured program when there's a multitude of participants in a group.
And one of my favorites is the chef tour. So you talk about, liking good food, good wine. So the chef took us out on a tour and we went to the local market and, he talked about all the different fresh fish and all the things that were being sold. We went to the chocolate factory and we learned all about chocolate. And then we went back to the ship and he cooked us, just the 20 of us, he cooked us a private dinner that night. So that was a great experience. I love that. So we offer those in quite a few different ports.
So many fun and unique activities that, a lot of people might not even think to do and might not even know are possible or available to them until you're presented with it. And then you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, I would totally be interested in that. That sounds amazing. That sounds like such a unique way to experience a little bit of the local culture and to get a better sense of, the heritage of the place and sense of place and kind of just connect with the customs and traditions through things like food and wine and,
great.
Cultural immersion experiences. I mean, I think that makes the trip so much more special.
Agreed.
And especially when you're hopping from place to place to place, because on a cruise, you're not in any one place very long. So it's a little bit more challenging to feel, engaged with the place as you would if you're there for a week or 2 weeks or, even several days. But when you get to have these very unique cultural experiences, you really get to identify and connect with the locals.
And it's not, some people, when they hear cruise, they think about, pool parties and going to the beach, but they forget that we travel all over the world. I mean, we don't do just Caribbean, we're all through Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. I mean, there's so many different opportunities of things to do and see. So definitely important. And Angie, I know you're going to Greece this summer, right?
Yes, I'm very excited. And it's really going to be a great opportunity for me. Janet has a lot of experience in Greece. So I definitely rely on her in helping create those itineraries, at least as of now. But it's really I've been wanting to get to Greece. I haven't been there, so that's exciting. And I'm also really anxious to compare. I've obviously worked on itineraries for other clients, and we've done some private sailing, but really to be able to speak firsthand about your ship. And we've learned it's so different in terms of how we can communicate to our clients as it relates to what they're really going to enjoy about a sail. And some of the things, there's always trade-offs. What are those trade-offs? But to be able to experience this itinerary firsthand is really going to help me better understand how to recommend celebrity cruises to our clients. We have a lot of multi-gen clients that are really leaning towards cruising because of the flexibility that it provides all of their family members. So they don't have to do everything all together. They can be on different schedules for some of the days and then plan to do some of the port activities together. But it just offers them so much more flexibility, and there's less complexities as it relates to the planning. They don't all have to, shuffle out of the hotel at the same time to catch a taxi to the next port. So it's, or the next destination. So I think it's really, once I experience firsthand, it's going to make a bigger difference in my ability to really learn and to understand your product line. We're well aware that the food is fantastic. We get those comments from our guests all the time that the food, on board a celebrity, as well as the entertainment. There's just some people, they want that entertainment. Now, you may not want it every night of the week, but to just have that flexibility on board the ship, to have options for entertainment, options exactly. for activities. Because even within the same family or a group of couples traveling together, there's differences. Some people want to stay out later. Some want to go to bed earlier and wake up and do a workout, but it allows you to travel with people that don't necessarily have the exact trip in mind, but you can still travel together because there's so many options when traveling with celebrity. You can appeal to so many different types of people aboard the same ship.
And the good news is they have Angie and Janet that's going to take care of everything for them. So it is a one-stop shop. Your cruise, your air, your excursions, like you guys can take care of everything. They know what they're paying ahead of time, right? It's like, and the best part of it, it's your multi-destinations, but it's not bags are packed at 6 and the bus leaves at 7 and you have to be on this stringent schedule. So I think that's what's the best part. You unpack once,
right?
Get to see everything. That every night could be a different restaurant on board. You have entertainment every night, different entertainment, whatever you would like to do, and the kids have their stuff. So
a lot of travelers that are looking at 2 to 3 week itineraries. Let's say to Europe, for example. One way to really, make that trip a little bit more unique would be to incorporate, a cruise in the middle or maybe at the beginning, at the end, and you still have quite a bit of land travel where maybe you're focused on a particular country or region of a country, mm-hmm. and the other time is allowing you to, you can see so many more destinations on a cruise, and it's great for me. I'm excited to cruise Greece for my first time because I'm able to go to so many different destinations in one trip, which will give me, a little flair for the different islands. And so that when I do visit by land at a future date, I can decide which of those islands I want to spend, 5-6 days versus, 1 or 2.
Exactly. You get a taste and everyone says, oh, you're only in 1 day, but you do get to see many different, I remember I did Italy, Greece, and Turkey in 10 days. And it was amazing. And I picked like 3 ports that I knew I wanted to go back to and spend more time. So, and every day we'd come back to dinner and we'd say, oh, that was the best. And then the next day you'd come home and you'd be like, oh, that was even better. And, it was just, you never knew what you were going to see and what to expect. And it was awesome. For 10 days, it was a lot and it was magnificent.
Yeah, and that's a lot of ground to cover. And like you said, it gives you that experience. You learn so much, so you know where you'd like to travel again.
Absolutely. And celebrity is the way to do it. I've done every cruise line out there, and I'm not, not just saying it, but there is a difference. Definitely there is a difference.
it's so great to just understand, again, different cruise lines, it's like different hotel brands are better for one person versus another person. And I always tell my clients, be careful, advice from your friends and family who have done something is fantastic, but take it all with a grain of salt, because just because I enjoy something personally doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy it in the same way I enjoyed it. Just because, our parents love a certain cruise line that maybe caters to older adults and maybe is a little bit slower pace, doesn't mean that our clients in their 30s who are super into active adventure are going to want to have that same experience. So it's so important to match properly, to match the right cruise, the right ship, the right itinerary to each and every client. And that's really where, the expertise and the knowledge and understanding of the products comes in so handy, and it's just so important. So I mean, we appreciate your time, and this has been so informative, and we can't wait to sail with you guys again and to have our clients experience Celebrity and share all their wonderful experiences.
And Angie, you're getting to experience our newest ship, the Apex. I mean, that's going to be amazing. We took possession of her last April, and nobody's been on her yet. So that's hard to believe. So she'll be taking on her first guests in June, and we'll be hearing all about the ship. So that's exciting. So you'll be one of the first to see the ship.
And we'll definitely report back. Absolutely.
I want a full report for sure.
We're excited. It's a great opportunity. So thank you so much.
And are you taking your son, I think?
Well, I'm debating on taking my son because we've just got some other family plans to work out. But my niece is definitely joining.
Niece, that's what it was.
Yes,
yeah.
My niece is definitely joining, and my son is a maybe, but we'll have to figure that out here soon.
That's wonderful. So I've taken my niece to the Galapagos, and just being with her made the experience that much better. But you're going to love it.
I'm excited to see her perspective as well, because we have a lot of families that have older teenagers, preteens, and I think she'll be able to really help me digest, what it's like to sail with Celebrity for that age group. So I'm excited.
A different perspective, right?
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
That's great. Wonderful.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for your time. And anyone that has any questions or they're watching on the replay, please share your questions, whether it's about cruise protocols or a particular itinerary with Celebrity. Just ask the questions and we'll make sure that they get answered.
Perfect. Yes. And do your research with Angie and Janet, and they're going to take really good care of you. I know that.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.